There are places in our world that vibrate with a primal energy, where nature seems to have its own heartbeat, a pulse that never stops. They are spaces where time is measured in cycles of life and death, and every corner holds ancient secrets. In these forests, life expresses itself in its purest and most resonant form, as if every living being were telling its own story through sounds and movements. A forest is the natural orchestra par excellence, where each species contributes its unique instrument to the melody of the environment. Imagine being under a canopy of green leaves, the light filtering softly through the branches, the fresh and humid air filled with sounds that intertwine in perfect harmony. The wind whispers through the branches, leaves rustle under invisible creatures, and every element has its own voice, from the smallest insect to the oldest tree. The singing of birds announcing dawn and dusk with unique melodies, the buzzing of insects, filling the air with their constant and almost hypnotic vibration, the tapping of a woodpecker, setting the rhythm on the trunks as if it were the drum of the jungle. All compose a constant symphony, a music that never stops and that gives life to the forest. A noisy forest is a living forest, full of energy, movement, and communication between species. Every sound has a meaning, every note maintains balance and warns of dangers, opportunities, or changes in the environment. But what would happen if that symphony suddenly stopped? If the bustle died down and the forest fell into absolute silence? The absence of sound in such a place is profoundly unnatural, as if life itself had retreated. We're not talking about calm, but a sonic void so profound that it's felt on the skin, a silence that weighs heavily and disturbs. It's a silence that screams, that warns of something imminent, and reminds us that in the forest, sound is life and its absence an alarm signal. Imagine walking through that forest, every step crunching under your feet, the fresh, humid air filling your lungs, and the light filtering through the leaves. You feel life vibrating around you, as if the forest itself breathes with you. You are surrounded by life's symphony. Birds chirping, insects buzzing, the rustle of wind in the treetops. Everything seems in harmony, a natural concert that never stops. And suddenly it happens, an abrupt cut, as if someone turned off the world. The commotion vanishes in an instant and silence falls like a heavy blanket. The silence is not peace, it is emptiness. It is an absence that feels unnatural, as if the forest had ceased to exist for a moment. The brain takes time to process it. You wait for the next chirp, but nothing comes. Time seems to stretch, and each second without sound weighs more than the last. The silence is dense, almost physical, pressing on the eardrums. It's as if the air itself has become heavier, and each breath feels forced. The birds and insects have fallen silent, everything stops. There are no flapping wings, no buzzing, no rustling of branches under small animals. A primordial unease runs down your spine. It is an ancient instinct, a silent alarm that puts you on alert. The forest, once welcoming, becomes strange and threatening. Every shadow seems to hide a secret, and familiarity transforms into mystery. You are an intruder in a place that has changed its rules. The environment watches you, and you are no longer part of its natural rhythm. This phenomenon, known by many nature lovers, is described as the silence before the storm, but without clouds. It is an unsettling pause, a prelude to the unknown. The absence of apparent cause makes it disturbing. There are no signs of danger, but instinct tells you something is not right. The world keeps turning, but the soul of the forest has been torn out. It's as if nature is holding its breath, waiting. What is capable of silencing an entire forest? The answer remains hidden, as mysterious as silence itself. Science offers us a logical explanation: survival. The sudden silence can be a coordinated defensive response. It's a universal alarm signal understood by all creatures. When a sentinel bird falls silent, all the others imitate it. The silence spreads like a wave, quieting the forest in seconds. Thus, the predator loses auditory clues and the prey go on high alert. This behavior reveals the interconnectedness of the natural world. Silence is a code, imminent danger. The animals remain still, waiting for the threat to pass. Many hunters read this silence as a warning. But what happens when the silence persists and no predator appears? Here the story gets stranger. There are testimonies of people who have experienced this total silence, and after waiting, nothing happens. The predator never appears. The forest remains silent, and then suddenly the sound returns. Witnesses describe a pressure in the air, a low-frequency hum, or the sensation of being watched by something invisible. It's as if the forest became a conscious entity. The mind seeks causes, but the absence of explanation triggers anxiety. The return of sound is abrupt, as if nothing had happened, but the witness is no longer the same. If it wasn't a predator, what was it that silenced the forest? En Cuarto Milenio, hemos recogido decenas de relatos de este fenómeno. Un hombre en Navarra sintió una soledad abrumadora y huyó del bosque. Una pareja en Gredos describió cómo el mundo se quedó mudo. Incluso sus propios pasos parecían desaparecer. Hablan de aire espeso, sensación de irrealidad y de no estar solos. Algunos mencionan olores extraños, neblinas o distorsiones en la luz. Estos detalles, repetidos por testigos que no se conocen, forman un patrón inquietante. La reacción emocional es universal, temor reverencial y extrañeza. El bosque deja de ser solo un lugar físico y se convierte en un espacio de lo imposible. Un lugar donde el silencio puede ser la voz de lo desconocido. When conventional explanations fail, alternative theories emerge. Folklore speaks of thin places where the veil between realities is fine. Perhaps these silences are manifestations of portals or energy vortices. Ancient cultures designated certain forests as sacred due to their anomalies. It is suggested that a space-time distortion could suspend natural laws, including sound. Animals with acute senses would be the first to detect it. Their silence would be a response to an anomaly of reality, not a predator. There is no proof, but science has accepted ideas that seemed impossible before. Perhaps the silence of the forest is an echo from another place, filtering into our world. The Oz factor, described by Jenny Randles, is a state in which the witness feels they have been removed from reality. The surroundings become silent, time seems to stop, and the feeling of unreality is total. Although associated with UFOs, it perfectly describes the inexplicable silence of the forest. It's like being inside a bubble, isolated from the world. Some suggest that unknown energy fields alter sensory perception and time. The silence would be both external and neurological, a personal and subjective experience. This would explain why some feel it intensely and others barely notice it. The silence of the forest, thus, is an interaction between an external force and the observer's consciousness. There are theories suggesting that certain places act as a planetary consciousness, manifesting strange phenomena. The silence could be a reaction to invisible events, such as magnetic or cosmic fluctuations. Others explore the existence of energetic, invisible life forms that alter the environment. Folklore speaks of elementals and guardians of the forest. Geophysical causes are also considered, such as seismic precursors that animals detect. Finally, the human psyche and the collective unconscious can project fears and wonders onto the environment. The silence sometimes is not outside, but within us. Hemos recorrido explicaciones biológicas y teorías especulativas, pero más allá de la ciencia y la lógica, el silencio del bosque encierra un misterio que va más allá de lo que podemos comprender fácilmente. Nos invita a reflexionar sobre nuestra relación con la naturaleza y con nosotros mismos. Quizás el silencio del bosque tenga múltiples causas, desde fenómenos naturales hasta la presencia de algo desconocido. Pero lo cierto es que, cada vez que lo experimentamos, nos deja una huella imborrable. Ese silencio tan profundo y absoluto siempre deja una lección profunda. Nos obliga a detenernos y a mirar hacia adentro, a cuestionar lo que damos por sentado. En un mundo de ruido constante, donde las voces y los sonidos nos rodean sin cesar, hemos olvidado cómo se siente el verdadero silencio. Hemos perdido la capacidad de escuchar lo que no se dice, de percibir lo invisible. El silencio se ha vuelto un lujo raro. El silencio extremo del bosque nos obliga a escuchar con todo nuestro ser. Nos invita a abrir los sentidos y a percibir el mundo de una manera más profunda y auténtica. Nos devuelve a la humildad, recordándonos que, por mucho que avancemos, seguimos siendo pequeños ante la inmensidad de la naturaleza. nos recuerda que somos solo una pequeña parte de un universo misterioso, lleno de secretos que aún no comprendemos. Si alguna vez experimentan este fenómeno, no lo ignoren. Permítanse sentir la extrañeza y la maravilla de ese instante. No huyan, quédense quietos y escuchen. Puede ser una advertencia, una señal de que algo está por suceder, o una oportunidad para sentir la textura